Hello there, and welcome back. Today, I'd like to make an olive oil based pasta salad, which is great for a light lunch or a side for your dinner or taking to a barbecue or just having with friends around. It's super simple to make, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And for your convenience, here's the ingredients. Pasta salad. Pasta salad, pasta salad, pasta salad. There's all kinds of pasta salads. There's more than I could even begin to articulate. There's some with mayonnaise, some with oil, some with all kinds of stuff. The one I'm making is just the one that I like. If there's one that you like more than this, don't explode in the comments about it. It's fine. Everybody's got their favorites, and if there's one that you've been making a long time, I'm sure that's yours. This is just one to kind of get people started. And if you've never made a pasta salad, is a pretty easy place to start. One thing I will say is I'm using an infused olive oil for this, which I just made a video on, so you might want to go watch that one first before you watch this one. With all that being said, let's get started. I'm going to be using a Tri-Color Rotini for this. You can use other pastas, but I like this one specifically because it holds a lot of oil and the different noodles have different flavors, and I think it just makes for a better pasta dish, but do whatever you want. But first things first, I want some crispy bacon in my pasta salad, so I'm going to go ahead and start that. I'm going to preheat my oven at 375 and then get my bacon laid out on a sheet tray, and we'll be ready to go. I went ahead and got some thick cut bacon for this. I usually get thin cut because it cooks better and makes really crispy bacon, but this one was on sale, so it's the one I'm going to use. Get some of these bacon boys on my sheet tray. These are probably going to take like 22 to 30 minutes to cook. It just depends on your oven. So just keep an eye on them while they're cooking if you don't already know, how your oven likes to cook bacon. My oven's at 375. I'm ready to go. I'm going to start them at about 20 minutes. We'll see how long it takes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start my water for my pasta. One thing for this recipe that's really important is you want to keep your noodles a little al dente or slightly underdone. And what's going to happen is when you strain them and get the water off, you want to immediately put them back in the pot and add your olive oil and your seasoning to it with your vinegar and mix it in. So as the noodle starts to continue cooking and absorbing moisture, it pulls in that olive oil and gets some of those delicious flavors mixed in with the noodles, and the herbs have time to kind of bond to everything. But while we're waiting for the water to heat up, we'll go ahead and slice up our tomatoes and our Kalamata olives. I've just got some medley tomatoes that I got from the grocery store, but I'm going to show you a cool little trick on how to cut them. I'm just going to take a couple of these Tupperware lids that I have laying around and use them with the lip side up, but add a bunch of the tomatoes that are about the same size to my little doodad here. And then all you want to do is take your lid and set it on there, lightly press your hand against it, and then you can take your knife and just slowly work your way through the tomatoes so that you don't have to do them one at a time. Makes it just a little bit easier, and since I'm not going for uniformity here, it's going to work just fine. There you go. How easy was that? Set those in a nice little mixing bowl, and I'll go ahead and cut the rest of these guys by hand. Now I'm going to strain my Kalamata olives. I'm probably going to use about half this jar, I'm thinking. And now, similar to what we did to the tomatoes, we're going to cut all of our Kalamatas in half. You know what? That sounds like too much work. I'm just going to put them in like this. They're pretty soft and a decent size. Why not? I've got my Parmesan Reggiano here that I need to grate for the recipe. I'm going to take this outside skin bit that you can't really grate or do much with though, and I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to add it to my water as I'm boiling the noodles. I don't want anything to go to waste if I can avoid it. Just break those into slightly smaller pieces. ahead and toss them in. I'm going to be using the smallest grating parts for my cheese too. And if you don't already use a cheese grater like this, don't waste your time with this whole business. That's annoying and it hurts your shoulder. Just hold the grater out in front of you and then push your cheese away from you and then clean up the mess off the board. I promise you it's way easier than most other ways to grate cheese. It's still a chore, but that's fine. This cheese won't go in until the very end because I don't want it to melt. I just want it to be an accent to the actual pasta salad. But since I have the time, I'm just going to go ahead and grate it now. And I'll save this little bit for later. I'm just going to put this in the fridge until I need it. My water's boiling. I'm going to go ahead and add my noodles. It'll probably take like 5 to 7 minutes. Bacon might be a little overdone. That's fine. Still going to taste delicious. I'm just putting it on a plate with some paper towels off to the side so I can get that excess oil off there and let them cool down a little bit so I can cut them. No oil goes to waste in this house though. Let's see where we're at on these noodles. Still a little too al dente. My noodles are about ready, so I'm just going to strain them real quick, and while they're still hot, put them in this bowl, and I'll show you what's next. Go ahead and pop your noodles into the bowl. My gross-looking cheese pieces are still in there, which is perfect. I think there's one more I need to find, though. I knew it. And then we're going to add our vinegar to give it some acidity and bring some of those flavors out. We're going to add our olive oil and our dry herbs, and then give that a good mix around. Then the noodles, as they try and continue cooking, should absorb a good amount of that vinegar and olive oil, and the heat's going to help blend all of those dry seasonings together. It's pretty well mixed. It's got a little bit of moisture it needs to absorb still, but I'm going to go ahead and add the Kalamata and the cherry tomatoes. Be a little gentler with my mixing now. What I like out of a pasta salad is a pretty equal ratio of tomato to olive to pasta, almost an equal amount of little pieces of bacon. That way you get a little bit of goodness in every bite. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge for, I don't know, about 30 minutes or so and let it cool down some so that I can add the bacon and the cheese without the cheese melting, and pretty much good to go after that. And while we're waiting for that to cool down, let's cut up our bacon bits. It's nice and crumbly, so there's not a whole lot of cutting I have to do. There you go. Pretty good sized little pieces. And they taste delicious. Put those back on the plate until the pasta's ready. It's been in the fridge for about 20 minutes. I can tell just by the bowl and kind of how it feels that it's not warm anymore, so I'm good to add my bacon and my cheese. Go ahead and give that a little mix in. I'm going to add a sprinkle of salt because it doesn't have enough salt for me. And with that, you're good to go. Keep it in the fridge covered, and then you can just go back to it as you want. Or take it over to a friend's house or out to the backyard on a hot day for a barbecue. Have a nice cold salad to go along with the heat of everything else. It's pretty dang good. And as I like to say, if it's bad for the heart, it's good for the soul. See y'all in the next one.